So we are now just 2 days, hard to believe, to California's Super Tuesday primary, with early voting already underway throughout the county, throughout the state, locally. One of the most contentious races will be narrowed down to just 2 candidates who will face off against each other then in November. That's the race for the 50th Congressional District seat. It's been vacant, of course, since Duncan Hunter resigned more than a month ago.
And our latest 10 News Union Tribune scientific poll shows who is on top right now. Amar Campanajjar polling at 35%, with Daryl Issa at 21%, Carl DeMaio at 15%. And here with us this morning is Dr. Kyra Green for the Center on Policy Initiatives. We'll get right to it. Thank you for being with us here this morning. So DeMaio and Issa have both been running ads attacking each other very viciously. No surprise there. What kind of impact has that had for the voters?
Well, they've been very successful at making voters see each other in a negative light. Both of them now have unfavorable ratings in the over 40%. So they are really losing ground individually in terms of their popularity.
It's a big shift. Given that there is no Trump challenger, essentially, what do you think is going to happen with the turnout on the Republican side, at least as far as the primaries go, and then how will that affect this race going into? We have a bunch of candidates with measurable returns, but you really have just a couple who are coming out on top right now. What do you think is going to happen Tuesday?
Well, I think it's interesting because, you know, in general, when the incumbent president is from the same party, you have lower turnout.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is an unusual candidate. The people who are loyal to him are very loyal, and they may actually turn out in order to have one last chance to vote for their guy. So I'm not entirely sure that we'll see as low a turnout as we normally see under these circumstances. But in any case, it definitely advantages Amar Campanajjar to be in a situation where the other party really doesn't have anything else that's driving folks out to vote.
And I believe we do have a graphic that shows, we asked voters, you know, what are some of the issues that are most important to them? One of them being holding the president accountable, second, border security, and also character of the candidate. That third one there, is that a function of this being Duncan Hunter's seat? Certainly,
I think that's a piece of the matter. But I also would say that, you know, character of the candidate is an interesting thing in the 50th. This is having character issues is sort of an on-brand issue for the 50th. They've had 4 congresspeople since that district was created, and 3 of them have been convicted of a crime at some point, 2 while in office. Yeah. So while it's true that the people say that character is a big deal, it's also worth remembering that Duncan Hunter was re-elected in 2018 in that seat while under investigation. Right. So I'm not quite sure exactly how to read that, that it's so important, and yet, you know, there's a challenge in that district.
It makes the 50th, reading the tea leaves in the 50th district makes an interesting look ahead, I guess you could say. What does that district, how important is it in terms of the overall makeup of the House right now? Because of course, this is one of those that'll come up in November, and depending on which way it goes, so goes the House potentially. Where are we in terms of the?
So the Republicans need to pick up 19 seats to take over the House. Okay. And they really need to hold on to this seat because this is what would be characterized as a safe Republican seat, and yet it does not feel particularly safe. So if I'm the Republican Party, I am very concentrated on this seat. It's also important in terms of the makeup of the House for the state of California, and specifically for San Diego. This is one of the last Republican seats in Southern California, and so the fact that it's a toss-up, that Campanajjar came so close to winning in 2018 and is running strong right now, I think you'll see a lot of people, a lot of turnout efforts in these next couple days.
Is it going to get as ugly in November as it did the last cycle, do you expect?
Yeah, I can't see how it would not. Okay. One of the 2 challengers who are running for second, they're already having a pretty nasty race against each other. Right. I expect to see them do more of that in November.
More of the same come November, maybe even worse. All right, Dr. Kyra Green, thank you so much for being with us. You're going to be back on Tuesday and Wednesday, it sounds like, as well. So we appreciate seeing you here once again. And our Super Tuesday coverage does begin on 10 News at 4 o'clock. World News is at 4:30. That's followed by ABC News. From 5 to 11 is that national coverage, but 10 News is going to be live streaming on all of your favorite devices with our local election coverage. That's from 8 until 11. Did you get all that? That was a lot.
I got all that. We've been reading it all morning. And 10news.com is your source for complete election coverage of all the important races. Just click on the Your Voice, Your Vote section at the top of the homepage to find original stories and our exclusive scientific poll results, and also interviews with the candidates.